You don't want me to open the closet because then you're just going to be staring at all of my decrepit, my wardrobe.
Yeah.
Which I need to, I want to update my wardrobe, but I don't know. Like, I don't know
I'm
the
also
places.
going to do that. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to sell my clothes that I don't wear anymore at Crossroads. And then they give you money either in the form of store credit or cold hard freaking cash. So
I would take the cold hard cash and leave town.
yeah, right. Sometimes I'll go to Crossroads with a big old bag of clothes and I give them my clothes and then they give me cash and then I take that cash right to the dispensary.
So you're just smoking away
my days.
Your clothes money.
Well, it's like if you donate your clothes and then you get money to take to the dispensary, it's like it just feels like a net positive that cancels out any sort of hooligan behavior that results in the dispensary trip.
Hooligan behavior? What are you, a pirate?
You know, partaking in such activities.
Well,
such illicit activities.
They wouldn't take my clothes. My clothes are undonatable. They are just, and it's not even like they're not even like lame or unstylish. They're just, there's something about them that's like, you know, this is the end of this generation. Like the lineage
ends here. Yeah. I also, one time I brought in really nice like clothes into Crossroads that are like from Unif, which is a pretty popular clothing store. And they're like, yeah, like this isn't in season right now.
What? Like it's fruit?
I was like, this is a California based company. What fucking season are we talking about? It's a long sleeve shirt. Like it's fine. I don't think that it's out of season.
Yeah. Everything's in season out here in the Southland. You know? What?
It just feels weird to say the Southland.
What? People say that.
Tonally feels incorrect to...
Tonally?
Yeah.
That's right.
Totally tonally. Welcome to the third episode of...
Every episode so far has started the same exact way.
Just like we're talking about something that's going nowhere.
A fledgling conversation.
Just not even... We realize that there's no legs. And we're like, well, there's nothing more to say about selling your clothes at Crossroads.
Exactly. So shouldn't, like... Are you uncomfortable when conversations just kind of end?
When they like peter off a little bit?
Yeah, when it starts to peter and both of you are very, very aware that it's petering and there's nothing to stop it, and then you just stop talking. Does that bother you?
I don't think it bothers me. I just think I have my brain is moving fast. I'm like, okay, next thing. Yeah. I'm ready to move on to the next. Ready to dive into the next little tangent that popped into my brain along the way. Mm-hmm. Although with this, it's less of a tangent and more the fact that we were actively sitting down and trying to record a podcast. So I think it makes sense to like expedite the flow.
This is a little more. Yeah, this is a permanent record. So okay, so I'm okay with just starting then.
Okay, yeah.
All right.
We watched Juno this week.
Yes, we did.
Well, I went away to London on a little vacation, and I watched Juno like 2 weeks ago, actually, and then again this morning.
Yes, same.
This morning I watched it sober, but when I watched it 2 weeks ago, I was like, I'll be honest, Robots and School of Rock, our previous 2 episodes, like, I was high, but I was so fucked up watching Juno. like,
what, this morning? Or
no,
when you watched
2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Like, I had ordered Sweet Green, and at the Sweet Green they also sell like chocolate bars, but it's Sweet Green, so they're kind of like fake, like healthy chocolate bars where they're like, I mean, it's still a chocolate bar, but like at least you can eat the whole thing and be like, meh. So
it's made of doves or something. Yeah. Healthy, you know.
Yeah. My roommate came home in the middle of me watching the movie and like out of my mind high, and I was like I held up the chocolate bar wrapper and I was like, I just ate this whole damn thing. And she was like, She thought it was the edible, and she was like, "Oh my god!" She was like, "I have to take you to the hospital." I was like, "Oh no, this is not. Like we're good." It just was like really tasty, so I just ate the whole thing.
Was it really funny having to explain that wasn't pot chocolate at that particular? Because I wouldn't be able to explain that it wasn't pot.
I was like, "Oh no," I was already completely baked out of my mind. This is the munchies.
This is chocolate. This is plain. Like this is. I'm not high because of this. And they're like, "You're not high?" I'm like, "No, I'm high.
I'm high.
Like I am." But
I am.
Yeah. And then it would peter off. When I'm high, man, do conversations peter.
Well, because you start a sentence and then
I realize I'm speaking English, and that's weird to me. And then I completely dissociate
the amount
from
of times
all meaning.
I'm high and I start a story and then I like go off on a tangent and then I'm like, I have no idea where I started. I have no idea where to get back to. Like, I don't know the original. I've lost the original plot. There's absolutely no hope for us. And so this person I'm with is like, I don't know how to get you back either because I don't even know. You barely even said anything.
You look over and they're always just like in their own world. Like they've tuned you out minutes ago and they're just like.
They were never listening to begin with. You're like, where was I? And they're like, you were speaking? I didn't even know.
Yeah.
I actually wrote down as one of my notes that I felt like Juno was, in a way, a stoner comedy, but not like your typical Seth Rogen stoner comedy, more like in a, this person uses weed as a coping mechanism kind of way. Can't you kind of see that a little bit? It's like the indie comedy. Like,
yeah,
it just hits that sweet spot of like,
right. No, it does. It's like I could see getting lost in like the emotional part of the film, like the relationships, I guess, that she has with like the parents. I could see totally just getting lost in those interactions. Yeah. Whereas like with Seth Rogen, it's like all you can just focus on is his silly little voice, and that's about it.
I was so tempted to like do a Seth Rogen laugh then, but
let's not do it.
I know. I bailed even before I started because it just would have been wrong. Guys, we have headphones now on the podcast. I just realized it probably makes us look so much cooler or exponentially dorkier depending on how you choose to slice it.
I feel like I'm in a spaceship. What if pilots and planes, like this is their setup while they were flying? Like they had a microphone and they're just like, and it was live the whole time, but they're just not talking.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That would spice up a flight.
I don't know. Juno feels like a person who never was on an airplane before.
Oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
Does it take place in the Midwest? Because I feel like it should.
It takes place in Minnesota.
Yeah.
Weirdly. Doesn't feel like Minnesota, but it is.
It doesn't. Isn't Minnesota really cold? I feel like it's never really that cold in that movie.
No, you're never really shivering.
In Minnesota or in the film?
I've just noticed that about you, Steph. I just wanted to bring it up.
Oh, I'm never shivering?
You never shiver anymore.
That's true. It is 80-something degrees out right now. I think I do be shivering, actually.
That's 80 Celsius.
I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When shivering is exhilarating.
Whoa. Do you have any important anecdotes going into this film? Because I have some.
I don't really. I think I watched the movie just very much like, you know, I don't know. I always think about like the circumstance. Fuck.
God damn it.
No, I always think about the stenches that I'm smelling while, you know what I mean? Like that goes into it, like the smells and the stenches. You know what I mean? Like it kind of imbues the film with like powerful meaning, like where you are, the environment. You know what I mean? Like if it smells like cobblestones while you're watching the movie.
You, the viewer, or like the movie, or did you watch this movie in 4D? Like, what are you talking about? Like, the scent emanating from the film? Or, like, the smells you're smelling in real life, real time?
I watched it in an isolation tank. I, like, dissociated and then went back to 2007.
Yeah.
No. It's just, like, I find when I watch movies in my room, you know, it just smells like nothing. And so there's no extra meaning to the movie.
There's no smell imbued into the viewing experience.
Exactly. But if I'm like outside and I'm watching a movie and it's like summertime and I'm like we're
an
watching
outdoor cinema flick.
Yeah.
How often? That seems like
it's rare.
Yeah. I'm like, what the
it just occurred to me that that's a rare thing.
This is a movie that I would love to see at like a drive-in.
Oh yeah, this would be
it's
perfect
an ideal
movie.
This movie's just okay. I took a class. It was like Hollywood in the American Film was like the name of the class, and the book we had to read was like Indie, an American Cinema, and on the cover was
there no
Juno.
grammar? Okay.
Wait, what did you say?
That doesn't sound grammatical.
What?
Indie, an American cinema.
Indie :
Oh, okay. Never mind. It does make sense. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and just saying, I did really, really well in that class, and my professor was like, typically I only teach these other courses to honors students, but you're the best student I've ever had. And this is true. You're laughing like it's a lie.
I'm not.
She said, you're the best student I've had in a long time, and I would love if you wanted to take my other courses. I would open them up for you.
Oh.
So I have a thing or two to say about Indie : an American Cinema.
The first half of that was not necessary. You did not. You always you 3 episodes now. You've gloated about how great of a student you were in college.
It's like the only thing I have. I went to a college where like
the honors. They had honors in college. You said honors student.
Yeah, and I wasn't an honors student in college.
Oh, but they had honors.
Yeah, if you were like, I'm gonna sign up to be in honors. I don't know. It was kind of I don't know.
Oh,
like you would have to like. I think I could have.
I thought that was.
I don't want to.
Don't. Yeah, you don't have to describe this. I'm not gonna make you do that.
No, but she did say that I was one of her best students. I did take the class over the summer though, for some reason.
Oh my god, you're such a dork.
Because
I mean, it's a cool class.
I didn't have to at all. Like it wasn't needed. I didn't have to take it over the summer.
So but you got credit?
No, I did. I got credit, but I was like,
yeah, well,
I'll take a summer course.
This whole idea of taking a break in summer, just if you're in college, like take a class. Like, what's wrong with you?
Yeah, and
why are you taking a break?
Because then maybe your professor will be like, you're the smartest ever.
Yeah, it's for the validation of the teacher.
Validation of it actually is like a point of contention with me that I no longer receive validation from teachers and professors, because that was really a driving force in my life until I graduated from college.
Well, then you should take a class somewhere.
It's true.
Yeah.
I don't even remember why I brought this book up, where we were going with it.
It was American and
Indie
and American cinema. Yeah.
That's when your indie : is when your colon like wears like weird hats and like has like a idiosyncratic way of being.
You meet up with your colon at the local coffee shop and you're like, hey.
They're like, what kind of beans do you have? I mean, your colon would want to know what kind of beans the coffee shop has.
Of course.
Because
it's an important
coffee
colon
makes you poop.
question. Yeah.
By
the way, my band's
in
playing.
American cinema.
The colon's hanging up flyers for its band. And you're like, wow, what music do you play? And they're like, reggae. You're like, okay.
That's fake. Fake indie, I'd say.
Yeah, it's pretty indie.
I guess that was the point of me bringing up that book, was that it's my relation to Juno. That Juno was on the cover of Indie : an American Cinema. I also, okay, so Halloween, I guess 2 years ago, I think it was like Halloween 2021, I invited some of my like coworkers, because this was like right after college when everyone was just kind of living at home and hadn't like really moved out yet and whatever. So my high school friends were having like a small party, so I invited my coworkers to come to the Halloween party, and 2 of my friends we're like, fuck, like, what do we wear? We weren't planning on doing anything for Halloween.
Mm-hmm.
And these are two guys, and they were like, what if we did Juno? Because my one friend was like, I have like a tracksuit, I could be Bleecker. And then my friend Oscar was like, okay, cool, I'll be Juno, but I'm not gonna do the pregnancy bump. And I'm like, so you're gonna wear clothes? You're just gonna wear like a flannel and Converse sneakers and jeans because that's what Juno wears in this movie.
What a lame costume that is.
Yeah, he showed up and I was like, dude, you didn't do the costume. And he was like, I'm in costume. I was like, yeah, that's not really, you just look like you. You're like an indie dressing piece of shit in like
just
your
better,
regular life.
Just better
you're
dressed.
The same.
Just better dressed. That's it. That's my costume. I'm dressed well.
But I just remember that, like, what a fucking stupid thing to do. Be like, we're going to do a joint costume that only makes sense together. And then you both show up and it doesn't ever add up.
Yeah. Yeah, that's silly. You should be like Shark Boy and Lava Girl, you know? That's a costume.
When I had pink hair and I posted a TikTok one time, someone commented, okay, calm down, Lava Girl. And I was like,
oh, wow. That is an app deleting, like, social media cleanse following comment.
It did hurt a little bit, but onward, because the hair was only pink for a few days after that anyway.
People who comment on anything are crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They're just insane.
They don't have like...
Have you ever commented on anything online?
Yeah. And then one time, do you know, actually I shouldn't talk about one time I commented, like when I was like in middle school and I was like, you're so annoying, LOL, on like some like Tumblr girls like Instagram, and she blocked me on Instagram.
Oh jeez.
And she has like millions of followers and I'm blocked.
Still,
yeah.
Oh my gosh. Never got over it.
No, yeah. Well, once you're blocked, you're gone.
Mm-hmm.
Out of sight, out of mind.
That's true.
I just need I need to look through my notes because I truly was incredibly high that so many of these don't make any sense.
What's like one of them? I can pick out a random one, and then I'll try to figure out what you're talking about.
Oh, this one's actually really good.
I'll try to.
There is no better trope that exists than jock dating weird freak loser girl.
There is no better trope that exists than jock meets nerd type loser girl.
Yeah.
So in the context of this movie, the jock in question is Michael Cera.
Well, at the beginning of the movie...
Who is not.
At the beginning of the film, Juno has this line.
Mm-hmm.
Juno says, jocks always want the freaky girls.
Oh, you're talking about the jock, like the asshole jock who, like...
Yeah.
Yes.
Who, do you know that actor is in Degrassi? He plays Sean Cameron in Degrassi.
I hate Degrassi.
I wrote out Sean Cameron is Juno's bully. It was very exciting for me as a Degrassi truther.
That dude said, I'm going to be an actor, and then just put on a backpack and hung out near lockers. And that's how he got paid.
Maybe we could watch a Degrassi movie for one of our episodes.
I would rather move out of town than do that.
What if I like really made a stink about it? And I was like, please, I really want to.
Make a stink. Who cares? Like, I'm not gonna
be like,
I'd be like, no, please don't make a stink. Not here.
Oh my God.
Please.
No, but I do. Okay. No better trope that exists than jock with a weird freak loser girl.
That was and that moment in the movie made me like Juno so much.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was like, I like this type of person. This like Juno, who's kind of like, who's like outer orbit, but isn't cynical about it, but just kind of like Juno's very wise.
Yeah.
You know, Juno's a very wise character in this movie.
Yeah.
And then gets kind of wiser. As
Yeah.
seems kind of like strange for a 16-year-old to not handle pregnancy or to handle it as well.
Yeah. Well, here's another thing that I wrote down in this is that this movie has Diablo Cody wrote this movie, and she's like my favorite screenwriter. Or not I completely take that back. She's my favorite screenwriter, like, for me to she's my favorite, like, what's the like, not mentor, but like person I look up to in terms of like the kind of movies she makes, more so than like for me and reachable goals. Like, I'm not gonna be writing something as like, I think the Coen brothers are like on another level of like screenwriting and like so clever and hilarious, and Diablo Cody is also so clever and hilarious, but like that's more like where I would be, like in the Diablo Cody writing of the world, more so than like someone like the Coen brothers, is what I mean by she's my favorite screenwriter.
Gotcha.
But
so yeah, Coen brothers they make like movie type movies where you're watching it and you're
like, this is
it has like movie things, like has like certain things that you know how like music has certain things where you're like, oh, this makes it sound like music, but like and like TV shows have something where it's like, oh, that's a TV thing. Like, the Coen brothers make like movies that do movie things, like the big swell in the music and stuff.
Yeah.
And they're not very.
That's true.
Naturalistic.
Although I did watch Fargo like last night, and fun fact about Fargo, not a single character has character development, but it's like my favorite movie.
Yeah.
Anyway,
the situation, the situation develops.
It's about the situation more so than anything else. But
which I don't know. I don't like that. I like when characters are kind of just emotionally, or just working on a deep, like just an emotional level with each other. And if, like, when you're high and watching a movie like that, then it's like,
well,
whoa.
That's why this movie feels so incredible high, because you're like, the social minutia. Yeah. The social minutia is like palpable.
How are the scenes for you? Because I was not high when I watched it.
Danny, what the fuck?
I'm telling you, I'm a sober person who does a podcast called Split Screen.
About being. I guess maybe it's taking on new meaning, and that the spliff screen, the play on split screen, is that I'm insanely high and you're not.
My friend had the idea today that I chain smoke cigarettes while I watch these movies.
Okay.
So, like,
and that's better.
I'm like, what state
that's
of
better.
mind?
How is chain smoking cigarettes better than sitting down and taking a 5 milligram edible? Explain that to me.
It ain't. Like, I'm gonna die in like 15 years. But
oh my god.
I'm gonna be like, chain smoking I'm gonna be like a 70s like beat writer by the end of it. I'm just gonna be like, yeah, this movie the very substance of film and the I don't know.
Indie colon.
Yeah.
Also, okay.
Juno's gonna be the face of my new novel. It's gonna be a textbook.
I have to. Probably one of the most notable things.
A fictional textbook, though. Like, imagine a textbook, entirely fiction.
I love that. That'd be actually a really cool thing to, like, create. I'm sure that exists. People have probably made, like, parody textbooks.
It's just lies.
It's just lies. Protectable under parody law, probably.
I was gonna ask you. I know you were about to start a whole thing, but just real quick, because you were high, what were the scenes like when Juno's talking to what's his name, the husband?
That's actually exactly what I was going to bring up.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, like, what was your perception of
okay,
that
I remember
interaction
when I had first seen this movie many, many, many years ago, probably in like high school or something, or had seen this movie sober. I mean, even just the point being, the first times I watched this movie, I did not fully see him as the total disgusting creep he is. And watching this back, I'm like, oh my god. Like, it's like, I mean, obviously, like, you get to be older and you're like, any man that is interested in, oh no, Danny doesn't agree.
No! No, well, go on.
Oh God. But like there's all these moments when like there's a moment towards the end where when Juno is ultimately just like when Jason Bateman, his character says like I'm going to divorce my wife, and Juno freaks out and comes storming out, and Vanessa, Jennifer Garner's character, sees Juno, Elliot Page, storming out.
Mm-hmm.
She ends up saying to Mark like, what did you do? And earlier in the movie they say like, we've had stuff fall through before, and Mark goes like, yeah, cold feet. And then there's this moment where it distinctly cuts between Vanessa looking at Mark and Mark like looking down. Ooh. And you know that that's like, okay, obviously this has happened before, or like to some extent like he's made some other like younger girl or like whoever else was like the potential like not surrogate, but the person potentially carrying their baby for them like made them uncomfortable. He just becomes like this, I don't know, it's like like you empathize with Juno the older you get, because you see that like when you're that age you wouldn't know. You'd think that like, oh, this cooler person with like these cool experiences think that I'm cool, and that's like validating, and you don't see how like creepy and weird it is that they would pick interest in someone who's 16.
Right.
Like regardless of like if it's inherently sexual or not, it's fucking creepy. And like you should know better as like a fully grown man to like not have a friendship.
Well, what Mark is that his name, Mark?
Yeah, Mark.
What Mark does is it's such a like a male thing, and not every guy does this. I'm not trying to be like, all men but all men do this sometimes.
Yeah, that'd be such a fun an insane way for this podcast to turn into like us talking about gender politics in an incredibly reductionary way. That would be, we just become one of those like Joe Rogan beta males, alpha male spiel. Anyway, keep going. It's funny.
This is true.
Okay.
That what he does is, here's the thing. It's not that all men do this, but what he did was very male.
Yes.
Which is that he did this weird double think, like plausible deniability thing, where he both has a totally platonic friendship with, or like kind of just a platonic relationship, like mentor-mentee type thing.
Yes.
With Juno, and there's a deeper level there. That
like he could be like, "What do you guys? What?"
And
but it's like
it's in the looks and it's in the silences.
Yeah,
but it's not an overt type of thing that he does really throughout the movie. Not until the end.
Yeah.
But like throughout their interactions, it's very, very subtle.
Yeah, which is obviously you wouldn't pick up on that if when you're like.
When you're 16.
When you're 16 watching that movie, you don't pick up on that.
Yeah.
There's so much that like I
it's so crazy that his wife sees it and then like looks at him like
and says, "What did you do?" It's so sad. And I also this is the first time I've watched this movie with like an immense amount of sympathy for Jennifer Garner's character Vanessa, because as someone who like doesn't want kids or like want to be a mom, like always as someone who's always related more to Juno than to any other character in this movie, not just because the teenage girl factor of that character like had obviously been the most relatable to me for most of the stages of life where I would have watched this movie, and I still would relate more to Juno, but like to see how deeply she wants to be a mom is like so touching and heartbreaking. And obviously that's not something I would have picked up on as a kid, and that I see now, and I was like, it's so moving. Like, I don't know. And she's perfectly cast.
Yeah.
Like, she does that role so well. And I don't know, you just feel so bad for her. Because when I watched it as a kid, I was like, oh, the character could have been spun to be more like this, like, sort of like type A, high strung, in a way where you like want to favor Mark, but it's told so objectively while still making you see like he's a piece of shit and like she deserves to be with someone who's aligned with what she wants to do.
Well, emotionally, it's like you say, like he's a piece of shit, and that's true because he's so immature.
Yeah.
Like he just has such an immature. Like what he just doesn't communicate the truth of what he feels, and he just lets the pieces fall where they fall.
Yeah.
And he's like, he knows he's devastating this person, but then he just chalks it up to like adults. That's the thing that like adults have to deal with situations like that, and that's life. But it's it's like, dude, you put yourself into this situation in the like this is not a situation that you should find yourself in.
Yeah.
As a
maybe
person,
pump the brakes before you put the ad in the penny saver.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like early in the when Juno meets the couple for the first time, and Juno mentions like I found this in the penny saver. The wife is like, the penny saver, but then that moment isn't ever like explained. But what does that mean?
Yeah, it's confusing if she's saying that because she's like, I would have never put it in the penny saver, but I think she did put the ad, but maybe in like a casting a wide net, and she's like, oh, and that's how you ended up here, more so hoping that it would have been through something else.
Oh,
because that's what I took it as, because she's so desperate and like was hoping that ultimately that's not how what path they'd be led down on. But I don't know.
All right. Well.
Yeah, I don't think he would have put it in the penny saver.
Yeah.
Or maybe he did to appease her, and then thinking like, no one's going to look at that.
He would have typed it on Microsoft Word and then just saved the document. Yeah, I posted it.
Good enough. We got it.
But what if he got a response from that? He's like, what?
From Microsoft Word?
What?
Clippy was like...
Yeah, the Clippy came up and was like, I see.
Want a little paper clip for a kid? You can raise it as your own.
You could hold sheets together.
It'll hold all your Post-its because remember it's a baby paperclip, so it can only hold a small amount.
And Mark's just playing guitar with the paperclip.
Yeah, it is. Oh my god, this is another thing. Hold on, at the beginning of this is another complete. This has nothing to do with like the actual heart of the film.
Perfectly on brand for the podcast.
Perfectly on brand for the podcast is. One time I saw my sister writing this essay. It was like a personal essay, and I was just like, I don't know, I was being snoopy, so I was like reading what she wrote. And at the start of the essay, she talks about calling up a friend, and her friend being like, is this Caroline? And her response being, no, this is Morgan Freeman, which is a line from this movie, but obviously I didn't know that when I read that off my sister's paper when I was little. And I remember being like, oh my god, that's really funny. I remember being
crazy.
My sister's pretty funny. And then I watched that movie and I was like, she fucking stole that.
That's insane.
Which she was probably referencing it.
Stealing. There's a lot of referencing going on.
There's a lot of... Yeah, but I was like, wow, that's so funny. That's brilliant. And then I watched that movie and I was like...
Completely affected your... understanding of her for years, probably.
No, I was like, it's the fact that she wrote that was like in my brain. It
fucked with you. That's why you pursued it.
I literally was like, that was clever. Yeah. I'm glad that she's I was like impressed by her writing capabilities. I was like, we got a regular Hannah Horvath in our house.
Hannah Horvath
from Girls HBO.
I watched 3 episodes of that, and I was like, I feel like I'm not allowed to watch this show.
It is a little...
And I stopped watching it.
Yeah. What else did I write down? I wrote down the time I got a parking ticket outside Planned Parenthood, which did happen to me.
Okay.
Because she goes in to like get the abortion, and I was like, remember that time when I got a parking ticket outside Planned Parenthood? Wow. And ever since then, I haven't paid off any of my parking tickets out of respect for women, because they did that to me one time.
Mm-hmm.
It's my way of...
I can't wait to give you a ride home later because your car has a boot on it.
Stop. I actually was saying how afraid I am of that happening.
You can't register your car until... Yeah, whatever.
It's not...
I'm not going to tell you this. Do you know why? Someone told me that, and now
you can't register your car until you pay your parking tickets?
Yeah, and I'm like, all right, add it to the list.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll get there.
Whatever.
I'll get there. What else did I write down?
Well, that another. My life is in squalor.
What happened?
Nothing. It's just like I love having a shitty life.
Yeah.
You know, where I'm like,
Yeah.
wow.
I kind of like having unpaid parking tickets.
I got 2 in a day. No,
Life's
this
an
isn't the
edge.
place. I don't want to live that moment.
Yeah. Okay. This movie is so
2 in a day.
what?
Parking tickets.
You just said you didn't want to talk about the parking tickets. I also
Well, that was at the front of my head.
Sorry. Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Thank you for apologizing. Guy who blames
at least you
everyone.
Didn't get a fucking parking ticket outside of Planned Parenthood. I was going to keep my health in check, and I was penalized for it. And that is
you did
unjust.
Just get back from Britain. That was very British of you.
What, to say penalized?
Yeah, penalized.
I don't think that's British.
No, you're not. Yeah, it's not.
It's just part of my rich and expansive vocabulary that we've previously discussed is, impressive. That's why my professor said best student ever that one time. This movie would be 2.5 hours long if it was made today. And I like,
you think?
Yes. I mean, think about all of the indie movies you've seen that have had excruciatingly long. Like, this movie doesn't waste any time. Juno finds out pregnant, tells everyone pregnant.
Yes.
This movie is such a tight little film. It's done so well. They don't fuck around. They don't waste any fucking time. They said,
yeah.
I see that fat and I'm trimming it the fuck down. And very few movies are bold enough to do so. Like, the in between her telling her parents about the adoption and meeting the Mark and Vanessa, it's immediate. There would be at least 20 to 30 minutes of meandering around her life, Juno's life, before it gets anywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be like there's something kind of like, it's so punctual. It's just so like this thing happens, then the next thing happens, and there's no like scene where just like taking the information and then reacting to it. Like, you literally just made this point and now I'm just repeating the point. But yeah, it's interesting. That's it's very lean. It feels like a form. It feels like the
Sorry, I was letting the conversation peter out.
No, I'm not letting it peter. Okay, because that was my fault, and now it's not petering. I'm gonna bring it back. I'm bringing the fuck Peter. If your name is Peter, stop listening to this podcast. It feels like
the horse is Sorry.
What?
From Family Guy.
Who's Peter?
Who's Peter? What did you
Oh, the main character. I totally forgot. I'm so out of my element right now.
Peter, the horse. I'm trying to be Lois.
Peter.
Oh my god. Sorry, you were actually saying something, but I got distracted by when you said
I'm sweating so much.
It is summertime in the city. Yeah. I don't remember. We're not even high now, and I don't remember where we started or where we're going with this. You probably do, because you were the one talking.
I'm the conductor. You ever been on a train?
Is that a real fucking question? Are you asking me if I've ever...
Wait, have you ever been on like a Polar Express type of train?
What the fuck do you mean by that?
I'm not asking.
Have I ever taken a train to see Santa?
Like like a choo-choo train. Have you ever taken a choo-choo? Not to the North Pole, but like to like Poughkeepsie or like hoo. Like, I'm gonna be fucking late. Like one of those trains.
No. They don't make those anymore.
Yeah, they do.
Do they?
I don't know.
No. They don't. Do you think someone's job out there is to like put the coal into the fire so that I can go to Poughkeepsie? That's not a thing. I take the freaking Metro North. I took the train into Brighton earlier.
So you have taken a train.
Yeah, but it didn't go choo choo.
It went.
How does
It went.
How does this relate to Juno? It doesn't. Does it?
It all relates. The web of conversation connects back.
The web of conversation. Oh.
The fabric of space.
The fabric of space and time. Okay, this note I wrote down, it starts by saying, I have something unspeakably horrible to admit. Oh, we've been going for 40 minutes. I wrote down, I have something unspeakably horrible to admit. Rod just held up his
phone and it said, like, text. It said 40 minutes.
Is that the big app? I love that app.
Oh, that's an app? That's fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Do you want to know my unspeakably horrible thing that I have to admit?
Yeah.
When okay, so in high school, this is really tough to say. This is really hard.
Wait, really? Is it like
no.
Oh, it's not?
No, it's
No, really. What's something like in high school? I will tell you a deeply embarrassing story from high school.
This is a high school film. I'm excited that we're watching something like this because I had an exciting 4 years and didn't get pregnant, but it was still full of twists and turns, worthy of being made into an indie film. One time my friend told me that she was like, Steph, like, your life so far, like, honestly would make like a really good movie. Like a really good, sad movie. I was like, okay, like I know that I've had an interesting past, but like you're really putting the emphasis on the. She was like, yeah, it would be like Oscar bait, kind of like someone would get nominated for their like crying as you performance. And I was like, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
You don't want to know what I wrote down of my unspeakably horrible thing to admit?
No, because it's not real. It's not really embarrassing.
No, it is embarrassing.
That's why I asked. Like, is this dead? You're dead serious?
That it's horrifically embarrassing?
Yeah. Like, really.
In high school, I had a phase where I really liked listening to like SoundCloud beats where people would put in movie quotes over the beats.
Oh, I can't believe you're admitting that. That's really embarrassing.
You just don't. You were like, oh, it's not gonna be good enough.
No, that's way beyond anything I could have ever imagined. That's so embarrassing.
And one of my favorite songs used the scene where Juno says to Bleecker, like, I think I'm in love with you, and they have that whole like scene on the track. So
what was like
you built it up? So I was gonna build it up, and then to be like, this is really embarrassing, and then you were like, it seems like it's gonna be nothing, and then almost your dismissal inspired me to think, I can be so brazen to just share this and not be ashamed. And then immediately, as I told you my unspeakably horrible admission, you said that it was the most embarrassing thing I could have admitted.
Yeah.
Great.
I'm gonna grow up to be Mark.
Oh no you're not. Don't say that about yourself.
No, I am.
No.
Well, I was gonna like that's pretty bad.
So that was you trying to.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. You were trying to make me feel better about my horrific admission by saying you're gonna grow up to be Mark.
Yeah.
No, it is embarrassing. But
what were some of the other movies? Like the movie quotes.
I actually like went into my SoundCloud to try and find them. But I couldn't because I didn't do a good, like I would like download them and save them, and that's not on like my current laptop. That's like from like when I was in high school. So I don't know. They're gone.
High school, it's like such a high school is such a mysterious
You're telling me, brother.
Like you're so it's an amazing, like when people are kind of put together in high school, it creeps me out. Like,
oh yeah,
they're already kind of like like, no, I'm good. Like that. I'm not.
figured out. Yeah.
Yeah, figured it out. You know what it was? Is all the people who got regular exercise. Turns out that was the secret.
That was the secret. Well,
kind of it has a way of centering you as a person.
It does, but
meanwhile, high school theater.
Yeah, I was about to say
the exact opposite effect on your psyche.
You know,
it's an ego pumping like just.
You're still able to do some sort of like, you know, you're still doing an activity that would allow for movement and joy, but also unrelenting narcissism.
Oh my god.
In a way that's insane. One time,
so intense.
Me and my friends from high school, my high school friend group is also really close. And our senior year, like you can do this thing where you like you take out like ad space in the yearbook and like you can put like your friends there instead of like an ad or something. Like they sell it to seniors also, so that you can be like, yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
But one time I think I wasn't in this story, but my friends told me that there was this kid that was in our grade in our like theater classes, and they were like, hey, like they were just, you know, they were looking through the yearbook and he was in the room and they were like in the theater lobby and they were like trying to be nice and like talk to him also, and they're like, oh did you see our page in the yearbook? And he went, oh, of the friend group I was excluded from.
Oh my god.
Crazy.
Sassy.
I know. And I was like, honestly.
It's so, like, that's...
Isn't that crazy?
How would...
We were like...
they were just... must have been blown away by that.
I know.
What?
I think they were like, okay, you don't have to look at it if you don't want to. But isn't that crazy?
Yeah. That's that level of like, I'm gonna state my piece, and you were like, I didn't even know we had a fight.
I was like, I don't think you can exclude someone from something that they never had a place in the first place.
That it's high school theater, and you know what? That kid, he grew up. It's the exact same way.
Yeah.
You just know it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say that's accurate. I don't follow him on Instagram or anything. I don't keep up, but I'm sure that's true.
He's very aware of the fact that you don't follow him, and he's going to bring it up at the high school reunion.
He feels it palpably.
What's his name?
I'm not going to say his name.
Okay. Yeah, like, what am I?
What?
Yeah, it would be so awful.
Oh my god.
His name's Kevin.
No.
Troy.
No, there's a really lovely Kevin that I went to high school with, and it is not Kevin. And
Me
I
too.
will make that stance because it's important that if he were to ever listen to this, there is no line of confusion that he would ever be mixed up in such a horrible tale.
Yeah.
You know.
Can you sing?
Not well.
Yeah. No, same. I
think that
like in high school, you know,
I could get cast as a singing role in the musical at a community theater if not a lot of people auditioned. That's my level of
that's a good
able to sing.
Good way to describe it.
Is like yeah, you could get like a supporting role that's like probably more comedic role, and like the songs aren't that hard to sing, and like the ensemble's pretty small, so like the odds of getting a role were increased by the low audition pool.
Yeah. Your voice ain't quivering.
Or like callbacks. Like you get the callback for Fontaine, but like, you know, like you're not really gonna get it. That kind of vibe.
Right. Which in high school is such a joke to even have like callbacks. It's like,
okay, can I just have this?
Yeah, just like just give it to someone.
Like
give it to the best one.
Oh, I thought you were saying like callbacks were like everyone got a callback, and I was like, well, some of us really cherished our time getting the callbacks.
I never got a callback, so that I'm very bitter. Because I was not a good
This was
singer.
Community theater.
Oh, this was community theater?
Different rules.
I remember after high school, like a couple of years had gone by and I hadn't done any theater, and my friend introduced me to like that world, and this is like 2019. So I was like, I had done no theater for like 2 years. You know why? Because they were so starved of like young men, like 20-year-olds, because they were
were
all
like, yeah,
off at
yeah,
war or college.
yeah.
And so like I was just cast in like one thing after another. It's a very sweet community. But then I COVID happened,
Yeah.
and then I moved to LA shortly after. But
Yeah.
like, yeah, it was.
I
couldn't sing. Like I
Yeah.
couldn't sing. I was on shrooms a few months ago, and I
Oh.
sang for my friends, and I was like, "Holy fuck, I can sing!" It was like the most beautiful thing I'd ever done.
That's so sweet.
It was so sweet.
I think I can sing if I like pick the exact right song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I also just find it hard to be sincere if you're like decent at something, it's hard to like commit enough to be good at it. Whereas like if you're decent at something and you can kind of be like, and like kind of like make fun of yourself a little bit and like halfway get through it, it's way easier to like be making fun of yourself than to like be earnest.
Yes.
So it's like I usually take the like pick a silly song and sing like do like all the small things and like do the weird sort of Blink-182 twangs with it, you know.
This kid auditioned with Happy Birthday, because that was a choice. Like if you were too nervous, like you could just sing Happy Birthday, like it didn't matter. And he sang it off beat, you know, like he couldn't even.
Oh, he must have been really nervous. Did he get cast at all? Like, was it like the kind of community theater where everyone gets in?
This is high school.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
so he got like ensemble and then quit a day into it.
Aww.
He is now a father.
That's exciting. I guess he was destined for other things. You know, fatherhood.
Yeah.
Being in the musical.
Yeah.
Those are your two choices.
God, high school.
I have to say, I do get, like, Mark, that character, reminds me so much. Ironically, I was going to say this earlier, so I'm happy that we've somehow landed at high school theater because it's kind of full circle that Mark, Jason Bateman's character, reminds me so much of, like, a high school theater director or, like, a community theater director who, like, where you're like, man, you actually can't be friends with these kids. Like, my high school theater director, no, not my, my community theater director.
There you go.
He one time like had in this community theater, like the shows were like 7th or 8th grade to like a senior in high school. One time he hosted the cast party.
What? No.
Yeah, we weren't like drinking.
Oh no. Don't do that.
No, I know. It was like in retroactively, I look back and I'm like, why did my mom like let me go? Like we were playing like poker in his basement.
Oh, that's so creepy.
That's what I'm saying. Mark in this movie is, I think his next career, like if being a rock star doesn't work out, he's gonna be a fucking like the band teacher at his high school. Strange
kind of connection to School of Rock, if you think about it. Guy won't give up on his dreams.
Oh yeah.
Except in this movie, very real world implications of that.
Yeah, he's genuinely frightening.
Yeah.
Jason Bateman in this movie, like.
God, I can't believe your director hosted the.
I know.
I remember like.
Isn't that
the director of my thing was like, I'm not affiliated. Because there were like orgies going on. Not really.
No, but I know what you mean.
This is like before I was in high school and I heard stories. I'm like, they have orgies at the. And it's like, no.
No, they don't.
Like these people are too dorky to fucking.
Yeah, no.
Everyone's just talking so fucking loud.
Yeah.
That's all theater cast parties are. It's people screaming conversations at each other.
Yeah. I kind of feel bad that I didn't come up with a Steph's social segment for this episode.
I just saw that.
Yeah. This is me trying is what that tattoo says.
It's pretty sick.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't know, like.
You should. I also just got this tattoo.
I really do like all your tattoos. They're such like nice styles and stuff. They're all like
this
different.
Brand spanking new.
Oh yeah, what's that?
It's for the 1975. It's like their.
Oh, is that their thing?
Yeah, I got it because if Maddie Healy does something horrifically offensive, this is easily changed into something else.
Wow.
It could be a stamp. Picture frame. But then I realized I accidentally, like, the placement doesn't look like I framed my freckle.
Oh yeah, it's like the middle.
Yeah, that
like
wasn't intentional, but I kind of like it.
It's like a square tit, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another thing that happened when I got super high watching this movie, I got so high that I did like a Barnes and Noble rush order of Page Boy by Elliot Page.
Oh.
Where like I ordered it for 2-hour pickup, and then I was too high to go pick it up, so I just picked it up the next day.
You needed it immediately? That's incredible.
Yeah, and I read like the first chapter or the first few chapters, but then I got really busy.
Yeah.
Which I do think that book is worth reading and like reflecting on in the context of the film, because Elliot Page has said like he likes that people are able to, he likes Juno, and like there's actually interesting things that can be said about gender and like what it means to be pregnant.
Yeah.
And how like, you know, people who aren't women can be pregnant, and like how that's, you know.
Yeah.
And it's really like the aftermath of the filming and like the press tour that happened. That was something that he doesn't want to like think about again. But I haven't gotten to that part of the book yet. That's just what I heard him say in an interview on TikTok. So
okay.
I will report back if there's anything important to say. But that isn't. There's also this part in the movie where J.K. Simmons, Juno's dad, says, "I didn't think you were this kind of girl, Juno." And then Juno says, "I don't know what kind of girl I am."
Yeah.
Which I just think watching this movie, if you're thinking about how Juno's already a pretty, like, you know, not necessarily upholding like traditional gender norms in Juno's personality, like I just think it's an interesting way to think about the movie. I did write down, again, as an incredibly high note, how many non-binary people watched this movie and saw Juno and was like, why do I relate so much to this character?
Yeah, there's something there that I don't know. It's
I also think that this movie is incredibly pro-choice, despite the fact that Juno decides to keep the baby, because inherently
that doesn't play into it at all. Really.
Yeah, no, it doesn't. But I think that's what makes the movie so pro-choice, is that everyone's saying like you have the choice of, you can get an abortion, but you also have the choice of, you can carry this baby to term and give it up for adoption. And Juno's able to choose that.
It was cool to see a movie where they kind of dealt with abortion and in like kind of a real context, like just in a context at all.
Yeah,
like people in that situation are not thinking about the wider political landscape. Thinking of it's like they're thinking about it in the context of their lives. Yeah, everyone is.
Yeah,
so it's like everyone has a context in their life, and it's like you're allowed to choose based on that context.
Yeah, I think there's so much about like
interesting
her relationship with Beaker and like what ends up happening between her.
Did you say Beaker?
Did I say Beaker?
He's kind of a beaker.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
Yeah, he's a little beaker, you know.
It's so funny that he is technically a jock on a technicality, because he runs track.
He's such a track kid. It's so incredible. God, the track kids were like the dork athletes of the school when I went, because like they would be like, I run 20 miles a day, and you see them, they're eating like 6 muffins at lunch. They're like, I need to fuel for later. And I'm like, you're such a dork.
It's very sweet.
They were really cool. They had a great sense of humor.
Yeah, the track kids.
Yeah, my friend was like in a track in high school, and all my friends were kind of like a year above me, like all like my friend group. So they graduated, and in senior year I was like, I'm a little like stranded here. But I had friends. Yeah. So like, but my one friend, I started hanging out with his friend group, and those lunches, because they were all just guys. I mean, talk about like gender. Like when you're a guy and you're hanging out with other guys, you will eventually completely lose all sense of reality,
all sense of humanity
and humanity. But in the like, it's so fun.
Oh gosh,
that's what's so. I remember like my friend groups. We were ding dong ditching for one summer, and it slowly just progressed to us vandalizing actual people's homes, like the outside. My friend had an airsoft gun.
Jealous.
So fun, most fun I've ever had. Ended up with the cops getting called because we were trying to steal a stop sign. And you know what I did? I snuck away, and I called my mom, and she picked me up, and she drove me home, and she never found out what happened.
Oh my god! I really wish I could have gotten into boyish shenanigans.
Oh, boyish!
But it's really devastating to me that was never an opportunity for me. But as a kid, I loved. I only hung out with boys until like 3rd grade. Like I was such a Like my best friend moved away, and then I was like, okay, I guess I have to hang with the girls now, which sucked. But I loved it. Like I loved being a boy. It was so fun.
It's always the threat of breaking something that's so like
playing
so
Nerf and being like, any second I could just like fuck up this.
Rod knows his old basement. We were 22 years old playing Nerf in his basement.
I'm so jealous. That sounds incredible.
Oh, that basement holds very dear memories.
Oh, I love that.
Incredible. Yeah, I love watching. And this movie, like this high school movie, like there's an element of it that's totally just taking. It's like a total work of fiction.
Yeah.
It's taking the high school experience and kind of like stereotyping it and being like, this isn't really what high school is like.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's like zeitgeisty in that way.
Yeah.
2007.
I know. Diablo Cody, just like, I love her writing style. And like, I think Jennifer's Body is also so good.
Oh, yeah. The dialogue is like such gorgeous dialogue.
Yeah.
Like their use of the terms that they use in the movie, which no one was using at the time.
I wrote down something specific for how Juno tells her friend she's pregnant. I am for shiz up the spout, is what she says. That's what Juno says.
This movie was nominated. Didn't it get best screenplay or something?
This movie is like incredibly well renowned and is like, I think, one of the best indie films ever.
Yeah.
Easily.
Incredible.
Indie : on the front fucking cover, so it better be good.
Indie, an American frontier.
Yeah. Should we pick a movie for next week?
Right now? I love that this is our planning.
Well, I did put up on our Instagram that people can submit.
Oh, did people submit?
People did. I'm pulling it up right now. Hold on, guys. Calm down. Don't freak out. Oh, we got a new message.
I'm trying to think, like, what's another zeitgeisty?
Someone said Friday After Next now is the greatest movie of all time.
Friday After Next? I've never seen that.
Also, this is really funny because this app definitely like sends you fake messages. So like I'm sure people who use this app on their actual Instagram like are answering questions that they think that their friends anonymously sent them or whatever, but like it's not. It's like I didn't sign up to get randomly sent questions. Like the app is just sending them to me, so I keep using it. Ugh. Like this one says, "Do you hate anyone?" is a question. And would you say yes if I asked you out is another one. So these are just the app setting them. Someone said the Simpsons movie.
Yeah. Okay.
Someone said She's the Man. I think that was Helen. I feel like it was Helen.
She's the Man would be.
Someone said One Friend You're Thankful For. So was the app.
Oh.
Someone said What Is Your Shoe Size? That is the app. So maybe another high school movie would be fun.
Well, I was thinking like maybe Superbad. Could be another.
I don't think we should watch Superbad right now. In the middle of a
probably not a good idea.
Yeah, I don't think that we should watch that.
In this climate.
No, I just think that it's just not. It'll feel sullied.
Okay. No, I whatever. Yeah, I agree. Scott Pilgrim?
That's a good one. Have you not seen She's the Man?
No, I'm down for that. Maybe, yeah.
I think She's the Man would be fun, and it would allow us to continue discussions
About
on
Amanda
gender.
Bynes.
About Amanda Bynes. It just, I think, would fit in nicely with the collection we've made so far in terms of movies we've watched.
Okay, let's do it.
She's the Man. Thank you to whoever submitted that question. I feel like it was Helen. If it wasn't, I'm sorry for giving Helen all the credit when it was someone else. But thank you to whoever submitted.
Who's Kevin?
And thanks for tuning in to this episode. Thank you.
Thank you, spliff screeners. Smoke some
reefer while you're at it.
Good night.
It's so funny to take off the headphones and like to hear the world.
Whoa.
Whoa.